Hello everybody! Today we're going to take a look at another way to solve addition and subtraction problems. So up until now, there have been a couple of ways you guys have been showing your work for adding and subtracting. One is by showing your base 10 blocks. That's when you show your hundreds, you draw your hundreds and your tens and your ones, and then you add them all together. Okay, that's one way. It works, it's accurate, but it's not very efficient. That means it takes a longer time because you're having to draw all of that out and then do a lot of counting. Okay? So we're going to start thinking about more efficient ways of solving addition and subtraction problems. Last week, I showed you how to use an open number line to solve addition and subtraction problems. And you guys got really good at those. I'm really impressed. That is also a great way of showing your work, but it's also not super efficient because there's a lot of drawing involved, but it works. Another way is to use equations. Equations is just a fancy word for number sentences, okay? So today we're going to take a look at how we can use equations to show our thinking. And some of you are already doing this, and some of you haven't been doing this yet. And that's okay. Wherever you are, it's perfectly fine. You can either practice for the first time or continue practicing and getting better. So let's say we have an addition problem of 28 plus 36. If I want to solve by using equations, what I like to do is I like to do something called partial sums, which a lot of you have been showing, and break up my numbers and think about it in terms of tens and ones. So for 28, I have a 20 and an 8, and I have a 30 and a 6. Excuse my dog in the background. Finny, excuse yourself. And then what I like to do is I like to start by adding my tens. So I have 20 plus 30, and that's 50. And then I add my ones, 8 plus 6. I know that's 14 because I take 2 from the 6 to give to the 8. That makes a 10. I have 4 left. So it's 14. And then I add my tens and my ones back together. And I end up with 64 for my answer, 64. So that's a pretty efficient strategy because all I've done is written 3 addition sentences. You can also do it in lots of other ways. I could start at 28 and I could add 30 for my first step and get 58. So what I've done is I've taken my 28 as a whole, I've added the 30 here first, and then I can have 58, and I can add 6, or if I want, I can do it like on a number line. I can add 2 to get to 60, remembering that I've got 4 more left. 60 plus 4 makes 64. So it's up to you what order you want to add everything in. That's your choice. That's what's really cool about math is you get to pick and choose. You just have to show me all the steps that you would have done in your head. Okay, what you can't do is write 28 plus 36 equals 64 and say that that's your equation. Because I am almost positive none of you can actually compute that mentally all in one whole. I can't. If I do this mentally in my head, I know I break it up and I think of it this way. I add my tens, I add my ones, and then I get my total. I want you to show me those steps so that if you do have a mistake or an error, I know exactly where it happened so I can pinpoint that with you and work on that with you. Okay? Let's take a look at one more with 3 digits for addition and then take a look at how we can show subtraction with equations. So let's say I have 382 plus 259 that I'm adding. Okay? Once again, I'm going to do my partial sums. So I'm going to look at my hundreds first. I have 300 plus 200, and I'm going to show that, and that's 500. I'm going to add my 80 plus my 50 for my tens, and that's 130. If you don't know that quickly, you can always count from 80 and count up by tens 5 more times, and you don't have to show that work, okay? And then I'm going to add my ones, 2 plus 9. That's 11. And now I'm going to add all those parts back together. 500 plus 130 plus 11. So I'm going to see that that's 500 plus 100 is 600. 30, so that's here. 500 plus 100 is 600. 30 plus the 10 is 40. And 0 plus 1 is 1. 641. So I know my answer is 641. Okay? Again, you could start at 382, then add 200, then add 50, then add 9. That's totally up to you what order you want to do it and how you want to break it up. But you can use equations to show that thinking. Let's take a look at, whoops, I meant to move the screen up and I drew on it instead. Let's take a look at what it looks like with subtraction. Let's say I have 68 minus 23. Okay, so I have a couple of ways I can go about this, just like with addition. I can start at 68, and I can start taking away 23. What I don't want to do, and I'm seeing some of you do this and you're doing it accurately, but it can get very confusing when you get to multi-digit numbers. I'd rather you not break apart the 68. So I see some of you will do 60 minus 20, and you'll try to do it partial sums way, is 40. And then 8 minus 3 is 5. And then 40 plus 5 is 45, which will work in this case, but it doesn't always work because if you have a lower number here, well, I'll show you later, it doesn't work so well. So I'd rather you keep your 68 as a complete number first, okay? Then, excuse me, you can take away 20, and I know 68 minus 20 is going to be 48, and then I can have 48 and take away 3, and it gets me 45 as my answer. Another way you can look at it is as an adding up strategy. So you can always think of it too, a subtraction problem, as starting at this bottom number and counting up to the bigger number. So if I wanted to think of it in that way, I could start at 23 and I'm going to count up to 68. So I want to think about what I want to add to 23 to try to get to 68. Well, I could add, I like to get to a friendly 10, so I'm going to add 7 because I know that will get me to a friendly 10 of 30. Because 3 plus 7 is 10 and I already have 20. Add those two together and I get 30. Now remember, I'm trying to get to 68, so I'm at 30, and I'm going to add another 30. That's going to get me to 60. And then if I'm at 60, I know I just need to add 8 to get to 68. Now, where is my answer in this one? That's a little tricky, because my answer isn't 68. That doesn't make sense. 68 minus 23 does not equal 68. In this case, our answer is in all the parts that we added to count up to 68, and we have to put all those together. So now I have a 7 plus 30 plus 8. And I know 7 and 8 is 15, so I could even show that if I wanted to. And I still have the 30, and that's going to equal 45. Did I get the same answer? I did. So I can count up from 23 to 68. I can start at 68 and take away 23, okay? But I'd really like you to keep that first number whole. Let's take a look at another one and see why I want you to keep that number whole. Let's say we have 72 minus 36. If I decide to take apart by 72 and try to do 70 minus 30, well, that's no problem. That's 40. The next part would be a 2 minus 6. And here's what I see kids do a lot. They say it's 4. It's not. If I have 2, I can't take away 6. I can only take away 2. I can't take away 6 and have 4 left, right? And so then I see kids switching it around and they say, well, it's going to be 6 minus 2. But it's not. If we imagine our base 10 blocks, 3, 4, 5, 6, 72, I don't have 6 here to take away 2. I only have 2. So that's why I'd rather you keep your 72 whole so you don't run into that problem. And all it does is change this to be 42, right? So I've started at 72. I took away my 30 and I'm at 42. Now I'm at 42 and I'm going to take away 6. Well, taking away 6, I can either do it all in one, or I can break that 6 up and I can say I'll take away 2 first to get to 40. And since I've already taken away 2, I need 4 more to take away. So I can do 40 minus 4 to equal 36. And therefore, my answer is 36. Or I can do it the counting up way. I can start at 36 and start thinking about what I want to add to 36 to get to 72. Again, I like to get to a nice friendly 10. I know that 4 goes with 6 to make a new 10, so that would give me 40. Then if I'm at 40, I know I need 32 more to get to 72 because I need 3 more 10s and 2 more 1s. So I kind of combined 2 steps from before, but I can do that because I know that mentally. So there's my 72. Remember, when you're counting up, you have to then figure out how much you added to count up. So now I have 32 and 4 that I had to count to get from 36 to 72. And when I add those together, I get 36, same as what I got before. So I'd like you to go ahead and give those a try. When you're working today, I want you to use equations to show your thinking. I'd like you not to use base 10 blocks. If you need to, you can model these on a number line because this is similar to a number line, but I'd like you to try practicing the equations so we can get to more efficient strategies. Let me know if you need any help, and